What's going on, everybody? This is JMO back again, bringing you a couple of Nuketown gameplays. Yes, a couple of Nuketown gameplays. This first game is going to be Domination, and the second game is going to be a TDM gameplay. Both of them are in Nuketown. Now, I wanted to bring you this gameplays earlier this week. I just didn't get no chance whatsoever, to work on them, to bring it to you guys. So I'm just now getting the chance to do so. So that's why, if you've noticed, since the last update, now they have the Nuketown Christmas theme, map. So that's why, you can see that this is the map right before the update. So this gameplays are about a week or two, old. So, anyways, also if you've noticed in the beginning, I'm playing with the one, the only, the myth, the legend, Mr. Seiken Mod Raj. Now, I wanted to bring you a couple of Nuketown gameplays because over the past few weeks, I've actually been asked by a couple of friends, asking me what areas in Nuketown do I like to camp and hold down. And in reality, a lot of these areas that I like to hold down, they are nothing new, they're nothing out of the ordinary. It's just more so when and how I camp them when I do. So I figure instead of going over each and every single area, I would just basically show you gameplays where you basically see me moving to different areas, from time to time, and just basically how I go about, holding the areas down depending on how my team is playing, how the enemy's playing, and just how the game itself is going. Now, one of the things that I do a lot is I pay a lot of attention to footsteps and just the sounds around me. And I heard an enemy underneath the house, so that's what made me turn around, because I pretty much heard somebody coming upstairs. And so again, that's why I ended up turning around, and you saw me get that easy kill. So it was just basically paying attention to my surroundings. Also, you see me camp down this window, which is nothing new. You see, people all the time, camp the windows areas. But the one thing that you see me do is you see me basically shoot from an angle. You very rarely will see me in the middle of the window, and if you do, it'll just be for a split second. But I tend to stay away from the middle of the window. Now, at that particular moment, again, I do pay attention to what I hear in the game itself. I heard basically the announcer basically say enemy napalm strike, incoming. So that's why I got away from the window, just in case something like that happened. And that's because I've gotten killed before when I've been by the window, and an enemy score streak has been called in. So it's just learning from past mistakes. Now, also, if you notice, we are actually playing against a 5-man team. So as you can see on the right side, so in the beginning it took a little adjustments for us to for me and Seiken to get adjusted in the first half, because they were communicating, they knew what they were doing. So we just made the adjustments necessary. By the way, if you are planning on camping and holding down Nuketown, I would recommend as a weapon use an LMG, not an assault rifle, and obviously not an SMG. An SMG if you plan on rushing around. But again, if you're gonna be camping Nuketown, use an LMG, and as a secondary, use a rocket launcher. Now, the reason I'm recommending to use that is because, well, number one, an LMG, for one, it gives you a lot of ammo, but in case an enemy calls in like a chopper gunner or an attack helicopter, with an LMG you can take out those score streaks real easy. Now, a rocket launcher, so whenever enemies call in a spy plane, a UAV, you can check it out. Now, this is a tip that I heard Seiken mention in one of his videos, and I've been following ever since, is that whenever an enemy calls in the counter spy plane, I don't even waste my rockets on that. And the reason being is because it takes 2 rockets to take down a counter spy plane versus a regular spy plane, which is only 1 rocket to take it down. And you get the same number of points for taking down a spy plane versus a counter spy plane. You only get 100 points. And since you know that in Nuketown there's gonna be a spam of spy planes, well, then just use the rocket, those rockets, to take out the spy planes, since it only takes 1, and you get more points for the number of rockets that you have, versus a counter spy plane. Again, it takes 2 of them. So save those rockets for spy planes only. Alright, so now whenever you see me come down or come up to this top room in the greenhouse area, whenever I come upstairs is basically for two reasons. Number one, either to cover and look at the right side of the map behind the Jeep area or the fence area, either that side, or to overlook the left side of the map where the B side of domination is, and from time to time the window. But I'll show you on the next video how I pretty much, if I am going to be trying to get somebody from the window area on the red building, I'll show you how I'll go about that. But again, whenever I go upstairs, it's either to look on the right side behind the Jeep or the fence area, or just to get the B side from a different angle. But for the most part, if I'm going to be holding down the left side where B is in domination, let me show you where I like to get to. Now from this angle, you'll be able to cover the whole left side of the map all the way to the back. So from this area, you'll be able to take out enemies easily and be able to get your team enough time to be able to capture B by just keeping the enemies off. So that is why I like this part of the map. So anyways, in this gameplay, both me and Saken ended up dropping over 40 kills, I believe, and we both ended up getting gunships, except that I wasn't able to get mine because I got it towards the end, but I wasn't able to call it in because Mr. Saken was on his gunship also, trying to be all greedy, get all those kills. But just joking though. But yeah, we both ended up dropping gunships in this gameplay. So that is it for this gameplay of domination. So I will see you on the next gameplay, which again, it is in Nuketown, but it's going to be a TDM gameplay. So I'll see you on this next coming gameplay.
Молодцы, разведчики. ГРУ, return to base.
And that, mi hermanos, is how we get it done.
And here we are now with the TDM gameplay. So you pretty much already saw in domination more or less how I go about camping it. Again, as you saw, a lot of the areas you've already seen. I'm pretty sure a lot of people camp those same areas. So it was more so how I adjusted. And if you saw that kill right there, that's what I mentioned in the domination gameplay, that if you want to get somebody from that window, yeah, you can go upstairs and try to get them from there, which most people usually do, but I like to get them from here. As you'll see, you can check them out very easily. And again, that's another reason why I stay away from the middle of the window, because you see what I'm doing, the way that I'm killing them. You don't want to be one of those people getting taken out like that. So in this gameplay, again, it's just gonna be mainly just you see me adjust to the situations, and that's pretty much mainly it though. But what I will be going over in this particular gameplay more so is pretty much what I use, the weapons, the attachments, and the just pretty much just overall my setup. And by the way, you will also not only see me adjust to my teammates and enemies in this gameplay, but you will also see me adjust to the game itself, trolling me, and you'll see in just a second what I mean. Well, not just a second though, but in a little while you'll see what I mean. Now, one of the things that you'll see me do is you'll see me reload quite a bit, quite often actually. Whenever you see that even though it seems that I still have a lot of ammo, like in this case, I still got 84 rounds in the mag, and you see me reload. Well, whenever I feel that the game is gonna be slow for a few seconds, I reload, even if I still got over 70, over 80 rounds still left in the magazine. And see, this is what I mean, the game trolling me. If you look where the arrow was pointing, look what happened. The game spawned somebody right behind me, even though we're still spawning on this side of the map. I think I started 7-0, and then that happened. And the game has done this a lot too, where I'll start 7-0, 8-0, 9-0, and all of a sudden it'll spawn an enemy right behind me. So what I did after that happened, as soon as I ended up getting my first field mic, which is one of the field upgrades which is actually the field upgrade that I'm running, I placed it again right behind me, so in case something like that happens again, I'll be able to know what's going on. Although a lot of times you can tell when an enemy's going to spawn behind you based on where your teammates are at. Again, the spawns are so unpredictable that, again, this is just me pretty much adapting to what the game is doing and just how everything is going in general. So anyways, so going over the stuff that I like to use when playing in Nuketown, as I mentioned earlier, I pretty much use LMGs, and that's what I recommend doing if you're going to be camping or holding down an area. So use whatever LMG you want, and there's really only two attachments that I would recommend using, and that would be, to start off with, is the barrel. I would use the 20.3 Task Force barrel. And the reason for this is not only because it gives you the not only because it increases your effective damage range, but mainly also because at the same time it increases your bullet velocity by 100%. Now the reason that is important is because unless you use that, you might notice that a lot of times when you're shooting at somebody, it may seem like you're basically having hit detection issues. This basically fixes that. As soon as you shoot at somebody, your shot will basically register. So again, the 20.3 Task Force barrel is the first thing that I would end up using, and that's what I use at all times. The second thing that I use, since using this barrel basically decreases the rounds in your magazine, and it also takes away a magazine away from you, I end up pretty much fixing that by using a magazine with more ammo. And at that moment, you saw me just put my field mic right behind me, as I mentioned earlier. But anyways, as far as weapons attachments, those are the two things that I would recommend using. Anything else is whatever you feel more comfortable with. You may be able to control recoil better than me, so you may be better off with other attachments that help your ADS speed, or a different side. Just whatever attachments you feel comfortable with. As far as the rest of my setup that I absolutely use and that I would recommend using when playing Nuketown, here it is. Everything that I have in the red box is pretty much what I always run at all times. Everything else that is not, you can pretty much change it though. But as you saw, for the wild card, I use green so that I can run 6 perks. For my perks, I use flak jacket, and this is pretty much because when people try to get you out of your camping spot, they're gonna throw grenades, whatever explosions to try to get to you. So flak jacket helps me with that. Scavenger, I use that just so I can keep on replenishing my ammo. So even though I have a magazine that gives me more rounds, and look at this right now. You saw, that is why I put the field mic right behind me. As that person was right behind me, I would not have been able to know had I not placed the field mic behind me. So anyways, going back to what I was saying, scavenger, so I can keep on replenishing my ammo, and all I got to do is run by a teammate that's dead, or a enemy body, and I'll replenish my ammo. I use spycraft, and the reason I use that is in case the enemy runs a counter spy plane, it won't affect me. I will still be able to see the minimap and know what's going on. And finally, the fourth must perk that I use at all times. Oh, and see, by the way, you see on the left side, that's my homie Saken holding down the left side of the map, which is the main reason why I'm mainly focusing on this side of the map. I don't have to worry about the left side, and that's me paying attention to what my teammates are doing. If he's holding on the left side, I don't have to focus on that. But as I was saying, my last perk that I absolutely use at all times when playing in this map is cold-blooded, and that is so when an enemy calls in an attack helicopter or a chopper gunner, I can go ahead and destroy it, and I don't have to worry about them basically try to shooting me down. For my tactical, I use stem shot so that I can get back into the fights right away, and finally a rocket launcher. So anyways, that is everything I run. And I know that I only mentioned 4 perks instead of 6, and that's because, again, those are the absolutely must perks that I run whenever I play this map. The other 2 you can use whatever you want, but this is just what I recommend. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you guys find it helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.
Great job, CIA. No muss, no fuss.
If you enjoyed this video and would like to keep up with upcoming new content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you all soon.